So the idea behind futures literacy is that the future, or the representations at least that we hold of it, play a major role in our lives, in the way we think and act in the present, and that we can learn to operate and better understand this capacity of anticipating in order to make decisions with more consciousness and reflexivity. In a way, most of our actions are future-oriented. We anticipate all the time. For example, when we go to work in the morning, we look at the weather channel to know what to wear. We can prepare mentally for a meeting that we have later that day. We have tools and we use knowledge to make these decisions, but we also use our imagination, who is capable of creating multiple scenarios of what could happen in the future and helping us consider what is possible, what is plausible, what is probable, also what we desire or what we're afraid of, and what is important for us. So most of these operations happen without us being aware of them, and being able to act on this projectivity of our actions is a way of gaining agency, because through projectivity of actions, it can actually attain its imagined value and meaning. So futures literacy is this capacity, or actually a set of capacities, to engage with the future with a reflexivity. That means critical awareness of different attitudes towards the future in order to understand your attitude and discuss with other people having maybe other attitudes. So this awareness means knowing what can we know about the future, what is certain, uncertain, also how to study it, how to measure it, how it affects the present, mine, yours, and the world's, knowing different methods and approaches, and empowering your imagination to enrich these scenarios and multiply them, and learning how to anticipate and to prepare for change. The concept of futures literacy comes from Real Miller's work at UNESCO that considered this skill as one of the most important for the 21st century. And this statement echoes the idea that the world is increasingly uncertain and complex, and that we're facing worldwide climate crises that are urging us to discuss collectively of what is important for us in the future and create pathways for action accordingly. And this is the intention of the Future is Now project.
In Project The Future is Now, we build a partnership with the three organizations, which was Youth Watch from Slovakia, Brussels Avenir from Belgium, and Plurality University from France. In the project, we were working with the main topic, which was trends of youngsters and Generation Z and future literacy. In the project, we created a space to organize various training courses in the topic future literacy. We were experimenting with the topic and bring youngsters together and tried with them. We used the methodology from the Plurality University, and based on this, we were trying it and changing it and experimenting in Brussels and in Slovakia.
How did the project develop? The project developed through 10 training sessions, one for the team itself, and then the rest with young persons, about 15 to 25 years old, both in Brussels and in different places in Slovakia, plus one international workshop that took place in Paris and brought together young people from Brussels and young people from Slovakia. During these sessions, we tested different ways of developing the participants' futures literacy. And typically these sessions would last for 3 or 4 days. In the beginning, they really sort of started to understand their relationship with the future, and then together to develop their own collective visions of the future, especially in the last sessions by producing artistic renderings, be they texts or collages or videos, sounds, graphics, zines, whatever. The purpose not being to create a work of art, but to let the participants' imagination loose before, during the last moments, reflecting on what they had done and what that said about the future and what that said about their role in the future.
How to bring futures literacy to young people in the city of Brussels. There are like three aspects of our way of working that were very successful. It's the use of futures fiction as a format. So together we work towards a very concrete futures fiction piece, like a sort of like an artistic outcome. That's like a huge motivator for young people to participate because they're going to make something together. They're going to learn along the way how to make radio, how to make a zine, how to make video. And then afterwards, they will have something concrete to add to their portfolio to share with their friends, with their family. Using futures fiction as a method, secondly, is interesting because nobody has really done it before. We're doing it collectively. And you get in this space where everything is possible. We can invent what we want. It's very binding. It creates also a space like you're collectively creating something weird, but you have to make it happen as well. So you need to listen to each other. You need to make enough space for diverse voices in the group. And then thirdly, using futures fiction as a space, not only during the workshops, but also during the workshop where we do role play and where we really travel to the future together. Also, when we share our futures fiction to a bigger audience, we stage a future. So we show really the future as if it is happening. And this creates something like magical, transformational that like it triggers the imagination and it makes us listen to different ideas.
Bonsoir et bienvenue. Vous regardez l'émission 2040 Les Serbes en direct de la capitale. Nous sommes le dimanche 24 juin 2040. Ce que vous allez voir est un spectacle neutre en carbone, construit avec des matériaux recyclés et biodégradables qui interrogent les nouvelles façons de se rencontrer et de sociabiliser. Le spectacle est fait par et pour les citoyens de Slessorb. Le baromètre de l'empathie émotionnelle.
So in general, I think both for participants and facilitators, it's a very fun and effective way to train the futures literacy muscle of young people.
What will remain of that project that can be useful to other people? Well, mainly three documents that can be accessed and used freely. The first one is a short leaflet called What is Futures Literacy and Why is it Useful to Youngsters? And it's actually written towards young people, but also educators or youth workers. And it provides some kind of a definition of futures literacy, but also examples of what it means and how useful it can be to be more futures literacy, to be more conscious about the role that the future plays in your life and to be able to work on your vision, personal and collective vision of the future. The second is mostly a formalization of the methods that we used during the training sessions, especially those that worked. And it's designed as a toolbox. So it's about 15 modules, which are different self-contained activities that can be done at different moments and organized depending on the time you have and the objective and the public. And we've organized it in four parts. The first one is called Connecting to Your Inner Future, and it's basically about becoming conscious of your personal relationship to the future and of the fact that others may also have a relationship to the future, but that it may be very different. The second is about detecting trends, signals, and factors of change. It's basically about surveying your environment and maybe discussing what is or isn't a trend. The third one is called developing images of the future, and this is typically when people work together to develop scenarios and stories and create artistic renderings of a future or several different kinds of futures. And the fourth is called Your Role in Creating the Future. And it's both in describing the path between the present and whatever future the groups came up with, and bringing the participants to see themselves as players in that path of change. And it's also about reflecting on the whole experience at the end of the training session. And then the third document is called The Future in the Eyes of European Youngsters, and it has two roles. It's mainly about what we learned. And so first of all, it shares the artistic productions that the groups came up with, but also tries to extract the important topics that were raised during the discussion and during the creation. And then it's really about how we as a team, as a collective, what we learned and how we changed in our vision of sharing and developing the young people's futures literacy. So it's our own learning journey that is captured in that document.